Hello everybody! Yeah. The mic was not connected. I hope there is a difference. Welcome to another video on the channel. For those who don't know me, I am an attorney and I am a mommy and I am a content creator, and this is The Lawyer Corner. Please do click on the subscribe button. It's a little red rectangular shaped thing. You just click it, it goes gray, and then you subscribe. Easy peasy squeezy. Do click on the notification bell so that you're notified every time we drop. Click the like button. Don't be the negative Nancy and click the dislike. Why would you do that? So today we're obviously on The Lawyer Corner, and we're going to be talking about CVs and how to make your CV nice. Mainly because it's the beginning of the year, people are looking for work, you know what I mean? Law students are now law graduates, you know, entry-level positions. So the name of the video has given it away. Today's video is tips for writing a compelling law student resume or CV. And before we actually get into everything, thank you so much for 2.7 subscribers. We are on the road to 3K subscribers. Guys, do share the video, do comment, do watch the ads, and yeah, anyway, let's get into the video. So basically, a well-crafted CV, what does it do for you? I feel like a well-crafted CV shows who you are, what you're about, and if you want to be taken seriously. So a well-crafted CV can show that you are the one who deserves the job, even with a low level of experience. So you know me and my tips. I don't have a lot of tips. I have about 7 tips today. Not long. It might sound like it's a lot, but it's gonna help, okay? The first tip is for you to select your CV format. I would suggest that you use like a simple black classic font, Times New Roman, Garamond, Cambria, you know what I mean? Like, make it beautiful and classic, and it must be on a very neutral background. A conservative style will help you demonstrate that you are serious about the position. So that's basically the first one. Select your CV format. Let it be classical, let it be beautiful, let it have a neutral background, let it have a beautiful layout. Don't get things clustered, okay? That's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is write a professional resume header. So a header is just like a heading for your CV. It's going to be there on the top. It needs to pop, but it needs to be beautiful. It doesn't need to be like glamorous, but it just needs to ooze professionalism. So in a header, what you will have is your contact information, your personal information, your first name and your second name, or first and last name rather. You'll have your phone number there, and you'll have your professional email address. I'm saying professional once again. If you don't have a professional email address, you can just create one so that you know that this is the email that I use for work purposes. If you already have an email that's like Sexy Maple 2.4, I don't think that's the email that you should be sending out. I don't even think that's the email that you should be having as a law student. So try and make it simple and classic. mapulasatusa@gmail.com, you know. Let it be simple, let it be classic, let it just have your name and your surname. It also shows that you're serious about yourself. It shows the kind of person that you take yourself as. And I also wrote here that a good email also presents a trustworthy image to your potential employer. Okay, keep that in mind. So tip number 3 is start with a career objective. A career objective is basically like a 2 to 3 sentence where you talk about your skills, your goals, your motivation. This is very good for someone who does not have a lot of experience. This is, you know, honestly, like recruiters will tell you that we don't necessarily take your CV and go through everything. We literally browse through, and certain words and things are gonna attract us to read more. you know. So that's why I'm saying don't make the sentences, don't make that objective too long. That's why I'm saying make it like a 2, 3, 4 sentences just to explain yourself. This is my career objective. These are my short-term goals. This is why I want to be employed with you guys. This is my motivation, and these are my goals, and that's it. That's your career objective. So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4 is for you to write about your education. I would suggest that you start with your most recent to your furthest. For example, you'll start with your university and then your high school. I would suggest not to write your primary school. I feel like it fills up your page and it's really not necessary. So how you would list it is, I would suggest you do it as follows, where you write your degree. So it will be LLB. It will be the institution where you graduated or where you are, the year you graduated, and or the day that you are going to get graduated if you haven't graduated and you're still a student. And just keep it like that. And maybe what you can also include there are your like key academic achievements, and also if you have like modules where you've attained more than 80% or 75%, because that's also like, you know, as much as they're going to go through your attached documents, at least that one is also like, oh, you want this distinction, you know, it also makes it look good. Okay. And I would suggest that you don't list them like this. If you have like 15 that are distinctions, don't list them like this. Make a column and write them like this, and then I'm trying not to make your CV to be too long, you know. So yeah, that's it. The tip number, where are we? Tip number 5 is describe your professional experience. What does this go back to? You doing that work. I wrote here that you have 4 years to fill this up. People get stressed when they are starting their entry-level jobs to say, I don't have experience. My thing is, what were you doing in varsity during your recess? That also says a lot about you guys. Like I've said in many videos that I've done for you guys, is that start your career experience while you're in varsity, even if you're not getting paid. You know, you need to look at your career as a whole something. You must not just look at the now. That's why I also push that when you're in school, don't just look at your books. You know, have a broader look on things, to say, I'm going to go to court and then I'm going to get the experience. I'm going to go to VAC work and work at a law firm and get experience. You can even work at NGOs. You can work at different places where you're going to attain different skills. Okay? I said begin your sentences with action verbs. Things like perform, things like manage, things like coordinate, things like monitor. Like remember what I said in the beginning, like recruiters are going to just look at certain words, like, oh, she coordinated this, or she managed this, or she performed. Start your sentences like that here on your skills and your experiences. And then tip number 6 is update your CV. Guys, don't be lazy to do this. I know it can be tiresome when you are applying and the skills on this application, on this job, what do they call it? Is it a spec? Yeah, a job spec. The skills are different from the one previously. You need to change it. Don't write a whole lot of things that that job spec does not want. Maybe write the ones that are needed, that you actually do have. And maybe if you feel like, okay, maybe me also having these other skills is also going to be beneficial to this, let me also add them. Don't add things that maybe are not necessarily needed for that on the skill sets of that particular post, you know. Make sure that you always update your CV according to the specific skill sets that are required. Tip number 7, this might sound very like, wow, Maple, we know to do that. You need to convert your, oh, my battery. You need to convert your document to a PDF. You know why? I remember I sent my CV and I forgot to convert it, and I used this format and I had a CV on where it looked very nice on my laptop. When I got there and they tried to print my CV, the format had changed. They were like, what's happening here, man? And luckily for me, what I did is that I printed extra CVs to give out, even though I knew that they were gonna have their own. And mine looked normal because when I went to print mine, it was PDF. But when I sent it out, it was Word. When it got to them, it had scrambled. They didn't know where career objectives, they didn't understand. So luckily for me, there I had like hard copies, about 3 documents where I gave them out. But you know, that's not a good look. It's already starting like, oh, madam, are you going to be able to, you know, navigate this law life? You know, so I would suggest, and it also helps for people not to delete anything by mistake or add something, you know. If it's in PDF, it's going to be good. The way you sent it is how they're going to receive it. And yeah, that's basically the tips. And I have a bonus tip. A bonus tip is for you to list the publications that you have done. If you've ever written an article in if you've ever written an article in Varsity and it was published, don't necessarily write it all out. Maybe just write a list of publication available upon request. And if there isn't any publications that you have, this is an idea that I had when I was in my first year of work. If your school doesn't, I feel like when we do assignments in school, they give you a certain topic to talk about, and then you do that assignment. And if you've gotten maybe 80% on it, I feel like it's worthy for other students to read. You know, you got a good mark, it means you had a very good understanding on the topic, and maybe other students will also have the same perspective after you've given it to them. So if there isn't anything like that on your campus, I would suggest maybe bring it up with your law school, bring it up with your dean, and it doesn't have to be like a fancy law magazine. It could just be like A4s, and then you just publish it every month, where students write articles, you guys publish them as if you're doing maybe 3rd year, 4th year. And this also, I feel, will be very nice for the younger students, your 1st year and your 2nd years, to see the subjects that you guys are doing, so that when they get there and they are doing jurisprudence, they are not like, oh my god, jurisprudence is so scary. I mean, I remember when I was doing my 1st year, like, people were like, yo, jurisprudence is crazy. But if we have those little articles that are out now and again for law students, for them to read, it's going to make it interesting for them, and it's going to make it easier for them to approach the subject. Instead of being scared of this big textbook, at least topics in the textbook have been summarized in an easier way. And imagine you saying at your interview that you started a publication of articles at your school. I mean, it's a good kudos to you. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna leave the video here. It is so long, I am so sorry. And don't be scared to ask me for help. And when I mean help, I have to disclose this. I can't be doing your work for you at work, guys. I'm sorry to say this. I have been getting DMs where people are at work and they want me to do the tasks that their bosses have given them. I am very big on research. I am very big on asking your peers, okay? Because I also have my own things that I'm doing, and I kind of also feel like, Mara, you guys are not being fair at this point, because I'm trying to give out information and then you guys are just coming back to say, help me with this task so that my boss doesn't think. But it's really sad when I see messages like that in my DM to say, oh, now I must do your job. Literally, you're saying, I must just call your boss and say, I need a job because someone is there and they just want me to do their job. I hope this does not sound rude in any way, but yeah. But I hope that these tips help you. I hope that you remember them. I hope that you apply them, and good luck on your career journey.